What's good, y'all?
Welcome,
What's good? What's
welcome.
good?
It's another great day to be a Panther, man.
Always,
Yeah, for sure.
always. We got a new face on the podcast. Ty, man, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Ty.
Man, what's going on with y'all, man? I'm just blessed for this opportunity. I appreciate y'all having me on, joining the crew. Yeah, bro, I'm just excited, man. Excited to be for this season. Excited to be on this pod. I think we're gonna do a lot of great things, and yeah, just continuing to build our fan base. For PV Nation, man.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely,
Love it.
absolutely.
Love it.
Carlos, you're already coming in with the foolishness, my friend. TSU, I can't remember when the last time they scored 30 ever, let alone on us. So,
Mhm.
call me delusional, but he must be talking about Tennessee State. Got
Yeah,
to be.
but I said,
That's
I'm
the real
trying to think.
TSU anyway. That's the real TSU
What TSU be
anyway.
talking about? Because ain't no way.
29 just won't do. It ain't 30.
I'm about
They
to
don't teach
say.
math off of Cleveland. Ain't no way. There's no way because it ain't 30. 27 ain't 30 either, my friend.
Hey, unfortunately, hey, took you 10 shots to get one. I understand. Now we got to go ahead and start the streak all over for him.
I like Carlos, man. He ride for TSU. He confused, but he ride for his school. So that's all right. Let's see here. Yeah, Boom in here. Janarius, man, how you doing, man?
Doing great, man. Doing great, man. Just another day to be a Panther, bro. Alumni.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm with it. I'm with it.
Yeah.
Got Boom in the house. Tony in the house.
Okay.
Well, yeah, man. If y'all want, we can go ahead and get this thing kicked off. Lot of activity this week thus far, for sure. What you guys been seeing? What's kind of what do y'all been seeing in the Panther orbit that is the SWAC? Our conference we created. What have y'all been seeing?
You know, we gotta do a good job of keeping our Panthers up to date, right? This past week we were able to get 2 new commits, and I can't wait to talk about them and break them down today. The number one class in HBCU class in recruiting just got a little bit stronger with our new additions at wide receiver, and then we have a 2026 commit coming in at halfback. And shoot, I can't wait to go down the stats with you guys.
Nice, nice. Well, let's just roll right on into it. Let's talk about these new guys, new blood. Coming into the program. Looks like the first guy is Nicholas Tramble out of Aldine Davis. Do y'all got any background on him? What do y'all know about this guy?
Hey, he's tearing it up on the north side of Houston right now. I know last year he had 1,200 all-purpose yards, 1,100 rushing. First team everything, first team all district. Of course, at the running back position, and I'm really just excited, man. He came out and he showed out for the camp at PV that was not too long ago. It was held sometime in the spring. And he got a lot of offers that day. If I'm correct, he got one from Arizona. He got a few more Big 12 and ACC offers there, and he went on ahead and committed. I don't necessarily want to say on the spot, but he made it. He made his decision last week. But I'm excited to see this guy run, man. I'm excited to watch him and even get out there and support him throughout his senior season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, he's explosive, man. He's explosive. Watching some of his tape, man, you can see the breakaway speed that he has. This is a guy that averaged almost 100 yards per game, last year. So, just him just being a factor in the running game and helping that offense there at D.L. Davis High School is big. And for Tremaine, to get one of his top recruits, from this time period being at PV, building that home native, right?
Right.
We always talk about Tremaine, saying that he want to lock down Houston. Well, this is one of them right here. You're talking about Arizona, Kansas, Kansas State, and he decided to come to Prairie View, stay at Prairie View and stay close to home. So it just kind of shows you that what Tremaine Jackson said, right? All you got to do is bring them to the hill, and then, he'll handle the rest from there. So, just comes to show you the trajectory of PDMU football and the recruiting process.
I think a key thing to point out, with this guy is just like, or really with the coaching staff, is that exposure that we've really kind of been clamoring to get players to Houston, get their parents from Houston, to the Hill, and really see what we all have to offer. I think that paired with the culture that we have, with everything that goes with campus, and obviously the academic portion of it, really is, this is just a move to me that reflects a shift in mindset from local players, right? Houston, we're no longer, coach talked about, we're no longer second, third, fourth, last option, right, for these players, especially some of the top players. We're becoming first option, right? And this speaks directly to that. When you can say you have a kid who had, pretty much every big name school out there that he could have gone to and probably got a bag to do it, right? But he said, you know what? These guys had a camp. They offered me first. That we've established a relationship. That's more important to me. And I think even more with the changing landscape of college football, NIL, teams are getting older because transfer coaches have to win now. It's no longer year 3. I got to wait until year 3 until I develop my program and try to turn something around. No, you have to infuse talent now. So that's kind of shortening the spaces for high school kids. This to me is a great move, and I really hope that we get him in here and develop him into what he's going to become behind what we already had. Right. That's what's scary. It's kind of like he's going to have a year or two to really develop before he really gets out there and we're running with him as our go-to guy. So I'm looking forward to this guy for sure.
Yeah, I'd say for the most part, I'm looking forward to it also, especially knowing that we have some players on the team now that's on that last rodeo, and we know we're gonna need more players and better, and we're gonna need like people to like fill in those gaps when people like McDowell leave and others that's in company that's already on the roster. Also, what I like this is a good move in my opinion, because like with my 5 years being at PV, like I ain't really been seeing like us recruiting within Houston as of much. Like we might have get some players out of Cyprus or something like that, but like not big time players like this, and especially with us not being that last option or anything. And some of those players will want to actually have a better chance to show what they want to do instead of saying like, oh, I want to go to this school because they got 16 national championships. Like that P4 might have those national championships, but hey, like if they're going to really value me in the future and actually will need me at one point in time. So that's what I say.
I think another big thing is we've done a little homework just kind of behind the scenes about this specific player, and he's really smart, has really, really good grades, which is great. Overall, that's the main thing, student athlete, right? But also he seems to be just an overall really good person, and kind of talking with some of the folks who are closer to him and know his family, that sort of deal. So I'm really excited to see. I mean, this guy has been featured by Dave Campbell's Texas Football, which for those of us in Texas know that's a very big deal to have that kind of coverage. Really, I'm really looking to see how he fits into the puzzle, which leads me into my next question. Do you think that he could carve out a change of pace in an already crowded running back room? I know he's for next year's class, but by the time that he comes in, a lot of our current guys will still have a bunch of time with the team, except for I think one guy, right? So you kind of have to look at it. Do you think he'll be able, his game, the way how fast he plays it, do you think that will have room with what we already run and make him impact from day one? Or do you think they'll try to develop it into something else?
Honestly, just from the film that I was able to break down, I was able to watch his sophomore year where he had 1,000 all-purpose yards as well, and then watching his junior film, I think he's only going to get faster and stronger as he continues to develop in the weight room and develop his athleticism. But not only that, he hasn't had to do it a lot on this level, but he can catch the ball very, very well. And he can make moves in open space, and he has that breakaway speed to catch a screen or to catch the little Texas route, catch the little out route on the drop down and really do something with it. So I see him being an impact player within the first 1 to 2 years of him being in the program.
Yeah,
Nice.
I agree also.
Yeah, this is a big time pickup. I mean, I think depending on how he comes in, depending on how the coaching staff views him and how he fits into the system, I don't see if if he is able to really do great things throughout his first year there, throughout the summer. Who knows? All spots be up for grabs, so you never know. You want your playmakers out there on the field. So if he's able to do that, I don't see why keep on the sideline.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I've seen, Elvin. I follow him on Twitter, and he's already talking to some of the other freshman commits. I know there's William Blaylock at Cy Ranch. He's not too far from me. He's like a 6'5" tight end. So they starting to follow each other, and they're starting to get the word around about what PV has going on for the class of 26. So I think this is an instant upgrade in recruiting and something that can help recruit itself.
And speaking to that point, because I'm glad you brought that up, Kayla, I think that it's really been interesting to see how quickly not only did he commit, but he's under other players' tweets.
Yep.
Hey, just kind of let the cat out of the bag. We're thinking there's a running back on his team that's also going to commit to PV here soon. Right. But they're actively, him and Blaylock are actively going out there saying, hey, PV is the move. You need to go ahead and make it do what it do. And that's been interesting. Honestly, because we're so early into recruiting those guys, right?
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how, because Coach Jackson talked about they're only going to have so many spots for high school guys. This is a 21 and up club. So, really even amongst the commits for the high school guys, what happens when we start to get all these quality guys from around the country and we're having to kind of make some hard decisions on, et cetera.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be interesting to see how they manage the roster in that way for next year. I know obviously we're speaking ahead, but this is a very, very good sign. I honestly can't think to a time in recent memory where, and I could be wrong, where we've had recruits for the next year kind of already committing and really, especially of this quality, right? So very, very good sign for the program and what they're building, what the coaching staff is building. So
definitely. And I'm also interested to see. Oh, my bad, go ahead.
I was saying, also, what I also peeped from the Seattle report when you sent it to me earlier, that he was great when it came to returning also. And most of those first-year players that come out of high school and stuff might gonna have to, come off and show their talents to do that special teams. And if they're doing good when it comes to special teams, that might bump them up in a certain way. Maybe somebody say maybe a speed back like Michael James or somebody or something like that, where y'all saying he's fast and very exclusive, and I feel that he can help us on the return, in kick return, punt return, starting off the first year. Then as we go into the years, he might can level up and get into that bigger role, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I misspoke earlier. I said it was a running back. It looks like Elvin pointed out that it's a safety actually. That would be from his school, that last name Gilbert. Okay, I'm gonna have to check him out. But interesting for sure. I appreciate that, Elvin.
Yeah, this is big, man. This is big. This changes to me. This kind of changes the landscape a little bit of how recruiting is going to go within the Houston area, knowing that PV is in the house. So yeah, this is big for PV.
Definitely.
Man, Kansas State, Arizona. I mean, those are. I mean, when's the last time we flipped a player? From a Power Four, Power Five, institution, um,
And remember,
and out of
Right.
high school.
Right. And the story of it all, or at least doing my research, how it seems is, like I said, he went to the camp, showed out on the hill, and pretty much these guys are pretty much ready. They, T-Jack, Arizona, Kansas State, they pretty much offered him on the spot. So, him having to take time, go through the relationships that he built, and make the best decision for him. And of course, I'm pretty sure he had the help of his family as well. And just knowing all the things that go into making that decision that early, right? You didn't even do fall camp for your senior year, so to be that confident in your decision, it tells the story of PV football going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I mean, obviously, we're excited for the upcoming season, but I've always told Lionel behind the scenes, like, I really think 2026, when Coach gets a full recruitment cycle, to really put together a class, I watch out. That's all I gotta say is watch out. It's really about to be crazy for us to be able to do what we've done. And one thing I really appreciated is they said we're not satisfied with this, right? If y'all thought we could do this in a limited time frame, if y'all see what we do with a limited time frame, wait till we have the full deal, right? And number 4 nationally for recruiting class, transfer class isn't good enough. They're like, why are we not number 1? Right. And that's what you just kind of have to love to hear as a fan from a coach and a coaching staff. Like, hey, we know we're number 1 in FCS. I'm sorry, number 1 in the state, right? Or in the SWAC, and then number 4 in the country, but we need to be number 1 across the board. And really, you need to kind of start looking at this as a lower level FBS class that we're putting together. So I really like that mindset for sure. Definitely something, a breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And speaking to that, we do have one more commit, that decided to make that decision to join us on the hill as well. Tristan Golightly, which I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with him, but I do remember playing him. I can't remember if it was the 2022 season or the 2023 season.
It was 2022.
2022 at Abilene, and he was going
Yeah,
crazy.
we played both 22 and 23.
Okay.
22 and 23.
Okay, but he was going crazy. I mean, he was mossing guys, contested catches, one-handed catches, you name it. Unfortunately, none of our DBs were able to even slow him down, in my opinion. But this is another addition to the team that, in my opinion, is going to make instant impact. With the wide receivers we already have lining up at the X position and the Z position, another 6'4" wide receiver with around a 40-inch vertical, big hands, strong, can catch the ball at the top and actually use his hands to catch. We're making upgrades all over the field.
Yeah, I mean, I think that looking at what we from a height perspective, right? We've been fortunate over the last few years to have some really tall receivers who can catch, and they've been great in spurts, but really to kind of keep that going and trying to find someone to fill what was let's say left away or went away from us. I think this is a superior replacement for sure, and looking forward to it. I know he tore it up against us when we played ACU. So it's great to see that sometimes your next recruit is on the other side of the field, and when you still make a strong showing and you have a good brand, and quite frankly it's PV, right? I think it's really good to see that we're able to convert other guys that we played against to come over here. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm. I feel that for the most part, with this addition, it will make our wide receivers like even stronger stronger. Plus, like usually back from 2019 to now, like compared to what we have now, like from the season before, we might have like that one player that might have some height on him and stuff, but as far as like the average receiver, we might have like a 6'1", 6'2" receiver, but they had speed. But now we got people that's like can go for jump balls with like efficiency and actually be able to take off, like actually take it by storm to the point where our receivers can be our go-to instead of just mainly depending off the run game. So I know years before we have like records in the run game, have 3 players having 100-yard rushing yards and things like that. But now it's a possibility that we can have receivers actually taking off and actually helping us win this game by far. Like games by far, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. This is another great get by EJ and the staff. You can kind of see where they're trying to go with this. You're seeing how they are really putting emphasis on different positions and getting taller in some areas. And so this Tristan coming to the team is only going to make the wide receiver room that much more better. And again, a guy that can go for the 50-50 balls, you know. Sometimes you're gonna need that guy where you know in the red zone or things like that, or just if a play breaks down or something like that, you may give him an opportunity. He's one of those people that have shown on that level that he's able to make those catches. So this is just another great signing out, and I'm pretty excited to see how Coach Buck is going to use him in the system as well.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the happiest coaches, in my opinion, coming from the staff. It definitely has to be the DB coach and the offensive coordinator. Just all the weapons that they've been getting. I know that they probably wake up the morning the happiest every day at 4 a.m. for fall camp. It's probably them.
Well, I like the fact that we'll be able to run some plays with him and Josiah Rockwell.
Yep.
Kind of right next to each other. And both of those guys are really mismatched for a lot of players in our conference and out of conference. Like, I mean, they're going to be opening. They're going to be opening amazing. Seeing that. And
man, it's a shame this game only has one football. I'm going to be honest. Because I don't know how everybody's going to get to touch it. Even in 2022, Tristan he suffered from a very, very bad injury in 2024 that required him to have multiple surgeries. So I know he had a long time recovering from that, but the last season he played, he had 40 receptions, 636 yards, and 4 touchdowns at Abilene. And, I don't want to be too optimistic, but if he's able to replicate that season, add maybe a few more touchdowns, let's say around 3 or 4, that's an all SWAC caliber player.
Yeah. I mean, it's really going to be exciting to see. And as we've talked about previously, just our offensive line is going to give the quarterback time to actually get the ball to these targets and make some sound decisions. So I'm hyped. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid at this point. These guys are gonna be world beaters, so it should be cool.
Yeah, it's scary, man. Even Jacoby Banks in the slot as well, man. It's scary, man. Like, what the scheme of this offense could look like if everything starts to click, man. Like, it could possibly get up there as one of the top offenses in the SWAC. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you're talking about T-Jack. T-Jack has averaged over 30 points a game, since he became a head coach. So, we're talking about somebody who definitely, has a defensive background, but definitely has put up some numbers, in his offenses, at his previous stops for sure.
And you kind of have to ask yourself, how does this all fit in with, you still have Cam Bonner, Chaney Fitzgerald. You still got Rodney Ojo, who's kind of been getting developed along the way, who's waiting for his turn, right? Yeah. So, I mean, you got a lot of guys that can for sure be, in position to catch some balls, right? right? And be meaningful, and be meaningful,
Definitely.
be meaningful players. So
Yeah, you still got Dennis from Lamar coming in, and I think he was my number one wide receiver coming in to the season. So you still got him coming in. I mean, it's a complete turnaround, but the overall upgrades that we're having, man, it's starting to look like an 8+.
Oh yeah.
Just the
yeah,
depth, man. Just the depth,
Yeah.
man, of the team, man, in the different positions, man. You can really see, how deep we can go, in these different positions, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be something to see, man. It's gonna be something to see this season.
absolutely, man.
DBs, and we upgrade on our tight end position also. Definitely can't wait to see that for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and shoot, just addressing those strengths, like you mentioned, Jacoby Banks. The degree of slot guys that we have coming in. Like I said, man, it's a shame that we only have one football, and we're supposed to put the expectation of our quarterback to be able to feed everybody, or even our best player. We might not even know who our best players are till game 5 or 6. Just just considering just how the team is structured right now, and I can't wait to be able to go out to football alumni night and just be able to check out the scrimmage and just be able to see what's going on and be able to at least get somewhat of a synopsis, somewhat of a depth chart, just be able to see what's going on out there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, even
No, go ahead, bro.
Oh my bad. Because to be honest, like you were saying, if we won't know who the best players till like game 5 or 6. To be honest, I already know teams that are facing us and coming in, it's gonna look like how it was in 2019. Lamar Jackson got his first season starting, and nobody had no type of film on him and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel like it's gonna be for our team, because like this nearly a whole new team. Like we have returning players like Jamal Marshall and a couple of freshmen from last year, and Carlos Villa-Gomez and people like that. But for the most part, like our main positions, like DBs, receivers, and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and Cam Peters, forgot about him. Like for that part, people gonna be very confused. Like how they coming? How these people coming? They getting all these recruits. Like, is they gonna be something we have to worry about or what? And I just feel like they're gonna be in for a rude awakening coming into the season.
Yeah, I'll say, just speaking to the strengths briefly, I really like how quite a few of those guys are really shifty, right? And so it's kind of hard to put words to, like, okay, these amount of guys are going to be able to be open and be available. It's just going to be a beautiful thing to see, right? If everybody does their assignment, they do what they're supposed to do, right? They run the appropriate route. I'm very excited to see that. Like, you got 3-4 options that are wide open, right? You just throw it to one, right? And they're going to catch it and do their thing and really make yards after the catch, right? That's the part that I think is, I guess, a little bit more exciting. Catching the ball is great, but to be able to, get some productive yards after the catch, that's gonna be cool from a lot of these guys, especially like a Jacoby Banks. We saw him at the spring game, and he just looked like wide receiver 1 that day, in my opinion. He just, get a ball to 10, right? So,
Literally.
There's something about
get it to 10. Hey, he gonna catch it, he gonna make it do what it do, and get it in the end zone. So,
Yeah, when in doubt, give it to Jacoby.
Man, it's gonna be a good position group for sure.
Facts.
Yeah, man. Let's see here. All right, what Lionel say? Both positions go crazy this year. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
What would you say, bro?
I was saying, like, are we still on this topic or was the next one?
No, we can move to the next topic, but I was looking at. I'm sorry, I was reading what Lionel said. Both positions go crazy this year. Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
wide
facts.
receiver. The DBs, honestly, I don't even know who's gonna play. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
Like,
like
put a name
you
in a
got like
bucket,
16, ain't it?
pull it. That's who's playing. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna. I don't know how they're gonna delineate who's playing and not.
Yeah,
I mean, personally, I'm looking forward to seeing Malachi Williams. I think he's
yeah.
gonna be. I mean, he was crazy at West Georgia. I don't think that's gonna change, and it's gonna translate really well. I don't know if Carlos is still watching, but TSU. Oh, is that True Secret? Yeah, yeah. TSU is they in for a treat on the 30th, man.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
So who
It's
the
some,
wait?
it's some on that heel coming for
Man, I don't know if you guys got the chance to see it today, but I got to look at an interview of Coach Dishman, and he was talking about the Heat, saying that it's gonna be hot when Prairie View, come off that hill, and I just want to inform everybody that it's gonna be hot and humid when we come off that hill. You might see fog out there when my Panthers run out that tunnel. I really don't know, especially in the TSU hot box. Ready to reclaim our territory like we normally do over there. Hey, I'm expecting a blowout. I don't think it's going to be close. It never really has been, but specifically this one.
Dish soap, dish rag, dish man, PV by 50. By 50.
Boom,
It don't matter.
Right. And I was looking at some of the numbers. I know last year we had 13,000, almost a completely sold out crowd for our home event. Now, my personal opinion, every time we do have to go to Third Ward, I think personally the attendance falls off a little bit. It maybe just the way that the soccer stadium is built. But I personally think this one might be one of the highest selling Labor Day Classics in a while. I think I'm expecting anywhere from 15 to 20,000 people packing out the stadium. I hope that TSU goes and supports their team equally as we will support ours, and keep the Labor Day tradition alive.
Hey, True Sick, I heard all the TSU people are gonna be at 50-15. They're not even going to the game.
Oh,
they're gonna be at the address.
Hey, they're gonna be at the locker room. I know where they're gonna be at. They're gonna be at the locker room.
They're not even gonna be at the game. I heard they're gonna be at Frenchie's getting a combo. They're not even worried about the football team. They say we already know what's gonna happen. PB gonna come and whoop us. That's what I heard. I'm just saying. That's all I heard.
Yeah, they might watch the game at home for free.
Yeah, guys. So
I had a
link.
Oh, go ahead.
I wish I had a link for tickets. I posted in the chat for anybody who didn't get their Labor Day tickets, but we need to try to pack this one out and shoot and start our road game treating it like a home game.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say it will be a home game. You know, what I mean, you already see T-Jack is already in the Houston area. Grabbing some of these recruits. So now it's up to us to do our part and give them that support out there, out down there in Houston. And I think with everything that T-Jack has been doing these past few months, getting this team together, all the stuff that he's been saying in the interviews. Because I feel like anytime that T-Jack is in an interview somewhere, it's like must-see TV because you don't know what he's gonna say. You know what I mean? I feel like, a lot of people are probably going to be like, like, let's check it out. Let's see what PB really got going on. You know what I mean? But I'm going to be honest. I feel like it's a lose-lose. I'm going to be honest. I feel like it's a lose-lose. I'm going to be honest. I feel like if people going to be like, TSU. If we lose, going to be like, he's, what I'm saying? He was talking about all this and, look at us now. But, I mean, for me, I look at T-Jack and I'm like, T-Jack's going to come in and, I think some of our issues from last year won't be the issues this year. I think that if you beat us, it would be because you beat us. It won't be us beating ourselves. And I think that's something that PV is going to really be hard to beat because you're going to have to actually beat us. And, T-Jack has shown that it's pretty hard to beat him. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I couldn't be a fan of a coach that was at media day saying I miss Bubba. I just it didn't. I'm just being honest, being real. I don't know how that works over there. So.
He know what's coming for him.
Hey,
Oh man. But so, earlier today we saw the athletic department post on Twitter, all their social media really, some upgrades that's come to the Baby Dome.
yep.
Mhm.
I don't know if y'all got a chance to check those out, but as someone who also sits courtside at the basketball games and I make a lot of the games, well needed, long overdue. But I really appreciate how, or at least one of the things I appreciate is how we're getting consistent with our branding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of, I know a while ago it was we had a university brand and an athletic brand where you saw the Panther head with the PVAMU, right? But now we're moving, and then we've had different variations, but across the board from university over to athletics, everyone's kind of on the same page as far as the big PVA and M. And so that's really cool to see. And then there's also it brightened up the look of the place with the
Yep.
brighter floor. And yeah, I really I really look forward to attending some games next spring and I guess end of this year and next spring and kind of seeing what man, I've been waiting on PV to do this. Well, that I'm gonna keep my comments to myself on a new arena per se, but
Don't don't
I'm gonna keep
don't,
my comments to myself
don't
on
talk
that
about
one.
the
No
baby
comments.
doll like that. Don't talk about the baby.
I'm really a big fan
but but
of that
but I
tape.
do love the collective agreements with the PVAM logo. I think it's bold. I think it's clean, and I think it's something that um, highlights uh, a little bit of tradition. I know the PV I grew up on, it was just a P and a V, and it was it had that cursive font on it. That's my personal favorite, but I really love the new logo edition. I love how you're coming out the tunnel. We have the new graphics, and you put a new coat of paint on it. Shoot, the stadium looks beautiful. We gotta work on the seating a little bit more, but in getting butts in the seats.
Oh
But
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, it looks like a new stadium, and it looks great.
yeah. I like the point, especially the tunnel itself. That pops out to me with the paint, the way they got the paint and the Panther. I feel like it stands out a lot, and it brands it out a lot more. Because I even seen the front door when you first enter the Baby Dome. It's like it's like they put more emphasis inside of our design instead of just having a glass door to just say PVMU and then go on about our day. You feel me? And I just feel like they're upgrading it. They upgraded it to the point where it's more presentable and people want to actually have something to say, like, oh, they're doing better, they're upgrading year by year. So like the school overall, we're upgrading year by year. Something's always getting upgrading, but now you feel me, it's the Baby Dome getting upgraded. And not too long after football field gonna be like that too.
Yeah, for me, I think this new court design is simpler and it's cleaner, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
The old logo. Actually, I kind of do like the old logo actually, but it had the like a darker court like shape of a Texas, at around the
Mhm.
court, right? I just felt like it was just like a little too much, right? But one thing I do like is I like the change of the paint colors, right? Being purple compared to like the darker brown that it was, right? And it just looks overall just cleaner. It looks inviting. It blends in perfectly with the seating, right, in the stadium. So I mean, in the Baby Dome. So I think this is something that is exciting. And shout out to AD Golf. He's done a lot of upgrades within the basketball. Obviously we got some upgrades in the football stadium. I'm a former tennis player, so I've seen some upgrades he did to the tennis courts as well. So I truly appreciate the investment in upgrading these different athletic facilities, and really making it more inviting and just upgrading the level of play. And then you're backing up with a lot of these great hires, and it just shows like PV is really invested into this athletic culture, right? They say where champions are built, but now we're literally, it seems like we're putting them actions into words. So it looks
Facts.
it looks
And standing on it.
Absolutely. I mean, the baby dome was built in 1964, right? And since then, right? We've had renovations in 2011, 2012, 2014. So I
Mhm.
want to say I really feel like the locker room renovation came somewhere after 2014, but I could be wrong. But this is pretty much the first major renovation outside of a new scoreboard um,
Mm-hmm.
since 2014. So looking forward to getting some more use out of it. It's obviously a cherished place and, has a long history of PV, everything from hosting Frankie Beverly and Mays to, you
Mm-hmm.
know, didn't he perform in there?
Shoot,
Was he
I,
supposed to perform?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
got
know.
a
This is
lot
me.
of
he
Two
did. He did perform
Chains,
there.
Young Thug.
Wale.
I could give you names.
Yeah, I think you names too, like too. Wale, Cash Page, Mariah the Scientist,
Ray
freaking
Shrimmer, Megan, you name it.
Young Nudie too, Young Nudie.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking. I think Destiny's Child may have performed there as well. Or am I making that up?
Hey, we gotta ask Chat GPT, but I could believe it. I could believe it right
No,
now.
we
I
just gotta
believe
ask Boom. Boom know everything. He the oracle. So
it.
Boom,
Oh
if you in the
yeah,
chat,
Yeah.
I mean, the Destiny's Child. Hey Siri. Hey Boom. did Destiny's Child perform at PV in the Baby Dome, or is Isaiah sitting here lying? All right, he gonna let us know. But no, absolutely, man. No, that I think it looks great, and like you guys have said, it's just we've had a long-standing commitment to excellence, and this is just another way of that showing. And as far as the new arena, what I will say is this: I think that at some point in time, the school will grow to a point to where it will be a legitimate need. Is that now? I don't think so. Right. And even if they decide to move in that direction, it probably won't be in the same spot. So,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and plus we have some other needs like more housing and just infrastructure that we obviously have a lot of things going on for ourselves, but there's some other things that I know for sure are probably more priority than a new convocation center slash arena. So,
Right.
um,
yeah.
and as far as why it's called the Baby Dome, I wish I could tell you. I really, really wish I could tell you, but true secret. But I'll do my homework on that one and get back with you.
Yeah, we gonna have a history segment for next episode.
Boom.
I do want to ask you guys this. I don't know if y'all saw the SWAC announced a new partnership with Victory Snacks, um, and just briefly touching on that as an
Yeah, I saw that.
NIL component for all 12 member institutions. How do y'all feel since we're talking about the Baby Dome and that would be a great place to carry those snacks? How do y'all feel about that? Like, what are y'all's thoughts around how they're going to pick which athletes to be featured on the snacks and all that? Do y'all know? You have any thoughts on that?
Personally, I was introduced to Victory Snacks through U of H, right? I know they have a program with U of H where I imagine we'll do something similar where they kind of rebrand their products to have U of H Cougar stuff on their stuff. Um, but I'm excited for that. I'm excited for athletes to have that opportunity to not only get their name and face out, but to also learn how business works, how their name, image, and likeness, is attached to them, and what all the things that they could do for it. So I'm very excited. These are opportunities that did not exist on my time at the Hill or shortly afterwards. So I'm not exactly sure how or who is putting all these together. I'm not exactly sure what team or conglomerate is making these happen, but shout out to them and all of their hard work and the changes that they're doing behind the scenes.
Yeah, I
No,
Yeah.
say
absolutely.
about the Victory Snacks. About Victory Snacks, I feel like that could also be another branding as far as like NIL things that nature high stuff comes. And when it comes to players being on the front of the chip bags and things of that nature, that's like a good opportunity for like NILs for like certain players. Also, and plus, that could be like more things you can like sell at what is concession stands and things like that, and that can actually make you can make like revenue off that and things like that, and make sure, well, I would say make it to the point where they can brand themselves more within the SWAC and people know more about their company.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
No, I was just saying for me, you know, I won't say I have too much thoughts on it, right? You know, I kind of want to see how this plays out first, right? You know, seeing how this actually plays out. But again, you know, this is a great opportunity, right? To be able to have another way to be able to um do NIL, right, with amongst the 12 schools, right, and things like that. So I'll never say it's a bad opportunity. I just want to see like how it will be implemented and you know what would it look like for each school individually. Is it equally divided or you know how they're gonna do that? So I'm kind of interested on that, but I think it's a great opportunity for the SWAC as well as Victory Snacks as well.
Well, so I have two main thoughts. The first is kind of like I really am curious to see how we roll this out amongst all of our sports, not just football. I know this is a very football focused
Hmm.
like platform. Football is king, right? But even with you guys being former tennis players, former tennis players, former baseball players, right? Really being able to provide NIL opportunities for Olympic sports in a way that we had not previously. I think will be interesting to see. You know, I love to support a volleyball player. I love to support a softball player or a baseball player, right? By getting a bag of chips or buying a whole set or whatever. So I like that. And then my second point was just I really like what this can be as far as a diverse NIL offering. So not everybody wants to buy the t-shirt with the player's name on it. Not everybody wants to, you know, do some of the other kind of functions that are out there, but doing something that's approachable, like I'm probably gonna 9 times out of 10, I'm buying something when I get to the games. Nachos, gummies, whatever, right? So being able to strategically say, instead of me getting, you know, whatever other brand is out there, let me get this PV brand, and I know a portion of the proceeds are going to go back to either a specific player or an NIL fund, which will help us be better, right, and get better and invest in our players even more. So I'm excited for those two aspects for sure, and you know, kudos to the SWAC for doing yet another thing that's you know innovative and kind of leading in the what I would say the FCS and even HBCU space across the board. So you know, I'm definitely excited to see it roll out.
Definitely. I could see a Nicholas Tramble sour cream and onion chip bag coming soon.
I'll buy
Yeah,
it today
in 2026.
with my wallet.
I can see it.
I don't know, maybe
Yeah,
like a
man.
tin with truffles or something. Like you know, you
And
know,
like
like
they gave the Cougars a Space City sour ring. So I don't know, you know, on the hill sour rings. I don't know what they would say, you know, for the different products that we have. But man, it's endless possibilities. I seen one picture they had Quinn Ewers on a barbecue chip. So you know, get your Cheese Jack barbecue. You know, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Something like
I'm with it.
some rap snacks or something. Like some rap snacks, something like that.
Hey, you know, he did drop those tracks when he was you know, announcing those recruits. So it
Oh
very
yeah.
much so could be a, you know, rap snacks, get
The
at
rap
us.
snacks.
Get at us, rap snacks. We got a
Yeah.
partnership. We got an idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know. That's all right.
and I'm glad you actually brought that up, Isaiah, about you know, just how he'll look like on multiple sports, not just primarily football. You know, I know for me personally, you know, playing a sport that's not normally known like that within the you know the swag and stuff like that, it'll just be a huge opportunity, right? Just to kind of get more notoriety out there, right? You know, we do have, you know, one of the top players from Barbados, like on our tennis team. That's our top player who had a great season last year. And so like you know, just giving him that notoriety, you know, things like that. Softball has, you know, had a great season last year. Our coach just won HBCU coach, right? You know, so you know, I mean, we do have these other, you know, sports that are successful as well. We only want to talk about our bowling team, right? Our women's bowling team, you know, that we have, you know, how successful they've been, you know, for the last, you know, decade. It seems like, you know, so I mean, we do have a lot of sports and opportunities. So I hope that you know, somehow, some way, Victory Snacks is able to pour into these other sports as well. You know, even though football is the king, but you know, if you're able to find an opportunity to dive into these other sports, I think it'll just be a great benefit for everybody.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
also
I mean,
think
I also go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying, like, piggyback on what Todd said about the other sports, like, I feel that Coach Bland deserves more notoriety than what he's actually getting. Because he been up here rocking on the hill, especially with the back-to-back SWAC tournament champions. Like that's something that you can't look over, bro. Like, and couple winning in a lot of winning seasons, he got three rings up here. Yeah, three of them. And yeah, Bo did more than what people think. Yeah, so I just feel that he deserves way more notoriety than what he's getting now.
And I definitely agree. I mean, I got my PV soccer jersey on today. Let y'all know the drip. You know, I can do it in any sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, last week I had on a nice polo, but today I had to put on the soccer jersey. So, you know, definitely, you know, man, Carlos is something else, man. You know, he just so confused. Y'all pray for him. You know, we got to pray for these sick people out here in this world.
No, I wasn't offensive lineman, man. I was just on the media team, but I ain't play football.
That logo.
Which one? Which one? True Secret. Which one? This one? The PB Nation podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe your shirt. I think you're talking about your shirt.
They think we're talking about, hey, you know, hey, listen, shout out to Legacy, History, Pride. I think that's the name of the company. You know, we need some more free gear. We like to be, I like to take this moment to say we are content creators and we are social influencers. So send us some merch. Tap in.
Definitely, man. Yeah, man. I'm excited. Well, speaking on Coach Bland, that is one thing that isn't really talked about in the SWAC world is the baseball and softball side of things. Coach Bland has definitely became a SWAC and HBCU legend over the last few years, man. And he's definitely a treasure, you know, that everybody needs to be aware of and knowing of. And you know, his program isn't necessarily fully funded either. So the success that he's able to have with the lack of scholarships and the lack of funding compared to other programs in the same conference, man, he's doing a great job.
No, absolutely. Coach Bland is definitely the GOAT. You know, truthfully, I will say I haven't made nearly as many softball games as I'd like to, but that's one of the things I'd like to, you know, put into the calendar is like to start going up to some of the games. I know they have some games that are kind of during the day, so that makes it a little challenging at times, but especially when we play them old, what is their mascot again? The TSU. So I don't know what them people in the third ward do, but when we play them, you know, it'd be nice to go. It'd be nice to, you know, especially because they supposed to be building some kind of baseball and softball complex, but we ain't. I mean, they did an announcement.
On the campus?
No. It's by Jack Yates. You know, it's HISD's land. So I don't know. You know, we own our stuff. We build our stuff over on the hill. I don't know what those people do, but hey, you know, whenever they build it, we'll show up for that game and show them how it's done. So.
Yeah, I know TSU athletics, they've been under fire, you know, the last about month or two. So they got a lot going on in there.
Yeah, it is send me the legendary SPV 2024 so I can hit funny. Hey, you know what? We listen, it's the mindset. Lionel already told you, man. It's not about see you trying to get us all worked. I know what you're trying to do. You know, I know you family values. I know how y'all are divisive, you know what I mean? It's about the mindset, man. And honestly, you know, we beat FAMU in 24, if memory serves me correct. So I think, you know, we did what we were supposed to do.
And not only that, you missed the pre-order, man. You gotta get the pre-order. You can't get it on the back end, man.
Yeah, you gotta be with us.
You gotta get the pre-order. You gotta buy, right? Limited time only, man. LTD.
Yeah, I got a question for y'all. True Secret have brought something up in the comments. Now, I actually want to get y'all thoughts on it. What are y'all thoughts on this? Actually, because it actually launches tomorrow. Actually, even though you could download it right now. What are your thoughts on this SWAC TV that's coming out? You know, and what are y'all thoughts on it? Do y'all think it's gonna work? Do y'all, you know, what are y'all thoughts on it when this got announced about the SWAC TV app?
I feel like it's gonna work, bro. Because just think about it like this: certain people can't watch their certain teams on like certain platforms and stuff. Because you either have certain SWAC schools that have a paywall, or you have certain SWAC schools that don't have their games like on air, so where you can find and watch their favorite team. So I feel with SWAC TV, it will be like a great way for everybody to watch their favorite team play on that weekend, like whether it's football, basketball, baseball, and etc. Bro, like it's gonna give us a better chance to want to be able to watch our favorite teams play versus you just having to keep up with the score on ESPN or something all the time.
No, I agree with you, man. With this, oh, you testing it out early. But with the addition of the SWAC TV, I agree with you. This is game changing. This will allow the conference to actually allow people to clip up live game plays, actually provide highlights, actually allow different content creators, streamers, YouTubers to actually have clips, be able to, you know, put highlight tapes together, do live reactions to different games throughout the season. And this is going to be something that really elevates the SWAC and allows people to actually put their eyes on it. In my opinion, growing up, the SWAC experience was something that you could only obtain in person, and now they've took the extra step to allow you to be able to experience this in your own home, and this is going to be revolutionary for the conference.
Yeah, I think for me, looking at what the SWAC Digital Network did last year on the YouTube channel, right? A lot of those videos got a lot of traction, a lot of views. I really do like the fact that has the quality improved overall as a conference as far as the production value? Yes. Do we still have a ways to go? Yes. There's definitely some schools who have put more investment into their production value versus others, right? But I think across the board, just taking the first step and saying, hey, we have a platform where we control our content, right? And we're not at the mercy of what seems to be a really bad deal, a long bad deal with ESPN, right? And really being able to kind of determine like, hey, the games we want to put on SWAC TV, we'll be able to do that now. The games that we want you guys to carry, we'll be able to kind of farm that out in a way that, keep in mind, 45 of the games this upcoming season will be on SWAC TV. So majority of the games will be housed there. And really allowing people to go back and look at them anytime. Let's say you have people that couldn't make the game and, they want to go and watch it, once they get home or whatever. I know personally, I watch a lot of old games. There's actually one game that if somebody could help me find it, that'd be great. That 2021, when we went to Southern for homecoming and we won 48-21. I'm sure Edwin Moore and Adrian Crook would enjoy that one, but I'd love to see that game again.
Hey, don't worry.
I was there, and I remember how great a game that was for me.
Don't worry, they burned the tapes, man. You ain't seeing that one again. It don't exist anymore.
What I do remember is they turned that scoreboard off real quick too. They couldn't even let you get a photo.
I remember that.
Jackson Davis tackled by Jeremiah Harris. Starting defense for Prairie View. Pay attention. Number 47, DeVavier Farrow, and also number 13, Cameron Franklin.
Valley low-key does have good.
Valley will be taking off again, and Tajarian will run the option. He's a big dual threat quarterback. You hear that a lot. It's now Tajarian Williams, nice name, Tajarian, out to the 33-yard line.
It's time coach.
Hey,
Same
Lionel,
amount
can you
of
mute?
ass.
Can you mute the volume? You
Call
can
it
keep
second
playing
and
it, but can you mute
7
the
after
volume?
the 3-yard pickup.
Second down, second and 6.
But yeah, I think
Hey,
the
Isaiah.
quality will be something that actually surprises a lot of people. Because I'm telling you, if it looks like this at Valley, I know everybody else should be well taken care of. I'm very worried about Pine Bluff, though. I don't know. Everything Pine Bluff does to me stinks. But if
Tell us how you
everybody's
really feel.
yeah, if everybody's recording equipment is together, this is gonna be a great experience, man. And I believe that we will start seeing highlights. I know y'all remember last year for the Bayou Classic. There, old boy was going viral, scored the touchdown, kicked the door down, shot up the whole crowd. So just being able to have those moments and different SWAT creators and people in our community being able to clip up their own stuff, it's going to take this to the next level. And I can only imagine what some other schools and media programs like Jackson, FAMU, us, of course, what we'll be able to put together throughout this season.
I mean, I gotta slander Southern a little bit because this has always been a pet peeve of mine. So if you ever watch their games, right, and particularly if someone scores a touchdown on one of the ends, where the camera's situated, it doesn't get a shot of that whole part of the field.
Yeah.
So like it'll follow the play and then it'll just stop.
Yep.
So then we got to do better now.
Yeah.
Y'all got to do better with that because
we need 2 hands on that
so
camera.
Crazy to me. That
We
is
need
so
full
crazy
cam.
to me. 23. Hey man, we sure did, but yeah, no. I think that across the board, technical difficulties will probably happen from time to time. But like I said, just taking the step and having the infrastructure to house our games in one place, to go back and replay them, to watch SWAC Media Day, and even like on there currently, right? There's baseball games, there's the baseball championship, the softball championship. I know for sure I may not watch all the games. Well, I watch a good majority of PV games, baseball and softball, but I may not watch all of them. But being able to go back and watch them and do that will be great. And then obviously the championship is always very, very, very interesting. So the podcast is, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing, I know that ESPN, they took dang near almost every game for Jackson, FAMU, and I want to say like Alabama State. So with PV having like almost every single one of their games being on the network and being able to provide a winning season would literally take viewers from ESPN and put them on SWAC TV. And SWAC TV has a chance to, get the last laugh on ESPN.
Adrian, excuses are tools of the incompetent. Okay, my friend, I don't care where the camera at. Move it. Don't have it there. That's bad, bro. That's bad. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for SWAC TV, man. Like, like just having access to not just some of the games, but just having access to different sports and just kind of seeing some different things. Hopefully it works, man. I feel like personally this was long overdue, but I'm glad it's here now. So we'll be able to watch some of those games, from the past and things like that, and and so forth. So hopefully, whatever the SWAC has to do, we don't know, specifically like who's over the SWAC TV network and things like that, but hopefully this all comes together, man, because this is a big opportunity, man, especially with things that's going on right now. So if they get this to work, man, this could really do numbers for real. So I hope they get it right and they learn from mistakes that happen along the way.
I don't know the specific number, but I want to say the commissioner said in an interview with AD Bryan at Alabama A&M on his platform, the SWAC last year had 42 million minutes of watch time, which I think comes out to something like 700,000 hours. So to be able to take a good lion's share of that and house it on our own platform, and then go back and say we're going to sell the impressions for for ad sales, right, to advertisers, I think is a genius move. And if it can work, right? We definitely have to land more sponsors, right? More people that see the value in advertising to our community, right? But if and when we do that, I think that's going to pay dividends because if you think about it, that's all HBCU Go and ESPN does is they're saying, okay, we're paying you, or either Crumbs in ESPN case, or whatever HBCU Go is paying us, so we can go and sell, advertising, get advertising revenue. And so if we can cut out the middleman and do it ourselves, right? And they, from what all accounts, he said they've spent the money to hire consultants and lawyers to do so. I think that if they execute properly, we can make some significant revenue for the conference, and you really see us be able to reinvest in our facilities, our teams, right? Having full scholarships across the entire athletic department for some places, really some really cool stuff. So
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely a big move. Definitely a big move. So
Hope it works.
no, absolutely. Yeah, hope it works. Hope it works
Most
for
of our
sure.
games are on there too. Like most of our games, I think the only game that's not on there for us is the Rice game, if I'm not mistaken. So almost all of our games are on there. So
Yeah, ESPN wanted that upset. So I don't blame them.
Right.
They
I don't
need
blame
that
them either.
upset. Yeah.
Rice and the Southern game is on HBCU Go. So
Yeah.
those are the only two games that'll be. Yeah, they said they're gonna put that one on
Yeah.
national TV. That butt whooping
Yeah,
that's coming.
HBCU Go needed that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna eat for every point we score. I think I'm gonna eat a wing from Blue Stove. I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Every point.
And for every point, I mean, I'm maybe big as a house when it's.
I was just
all
about to
said and
say
done.
that. Hey, man. You might not eat for 3 days after that. You might be stuck eating 45 wings, something crazy like that.
I may cap it. I may cap it at 50. Once we hit 50, then I know we good. Yeah,
Hey, that's a 50 piece, man.
You got that.
Yeah, that Blue Stove is, man. I already got my accommodations. I know what golf course I'm going to the day before the game. I am so ready for that game because I feel like that one's going to determine the West. I'm pretty confident it's going to be the case. So, at least for us, I know what we got, but I don't know what they going, what the position they're going to be in. So.
Let's be honest. The last few years, the only two teams that have came out the SWAC West was PV and Southern.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So it should be definitely good. But nah, man, Top Golf isn't a golf course. I didn't say anything about Top Golf. See, this is I'm gonna leave it alone. Crook gonna be who he is. So. I don't know for you because
What's the moment of truth, Nick?
Some of the former PV coaches, I guess, on that Southern staff, I'm guessing.
OC Frederick, Mark Frederick. He's OC over there currently, but I'm not gonna lie, he ain't beating us with 19 points this year. That ain't happening. You're not beating us with the 8th ranked offense no more. They ain't making it through the West this year, so I don't know what they're gonna do this year.
Nope. No, that's what Lionel was talking about with Mr. Inside Zone. That's what he was talking about.
Maybe I'll get to that.
Darius, that's a good question. I'm going to tell you what I think. I don't know this for sure, right? But if memory serves me correct, I want to say every revenue, every dollar that comes into the SWAC office or to the SWAC, right, from to the conference office, the conference keeps a percentage, and then the rest are equally split amongst the institutions. In most cases, but I'm not entirely sure, right? I don't work in the conference office, so I don't know how they have SWAC TV set up, but I would imagine it's probably going to be something to that effect. So that's a good question that I'm pretty sure we're not going to get the answer to, just because they're pretty aloof about the specifics at the SWAC office. Also, keep in mind we have a private school in the conference in Bethune-Cookman, so because of that they don't necessarily have to share the information as well, but I think that's part of the deal. But nevertheless, we shall see. It'll all reflect in the budgets, right, and the SWAC tax return. So
yeah, that's a great
we shall see. We're stronger. And if you can't stop, it's gonna work. That's RPO. And Woods isn't a runner. Let that sink in. What is he talking about? Oh, you're
Oh,
talking about Southern's new running back?
yeah, they were talking about like like when I said like Lionel was talking about inside zone. That's what they were talking about.
Yeah, I know there. I think his last name is Price, the running back for Southern. I know he's in a tough situation. I know he has a trial date on like the 28th, so like right before Labor Day. He has his trial will start. So I don't know if he will be able to play the full season with not Grandma Southern. Same losers. But I do wish him luck in that battle. And hopefully he's able to get on the field, and I think the result will be the same whether he plays or not, unfortunately.
I mean, now I will say he's a really good player. Obviously, he has the leading rushing record in the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, he broke like a
But
30-year-old record.
crazy. But I don't know if that running back is going to save you from those Panthers. I don't know if it's going to save you. If I'm being real. Rich, what's going on, Rich? We missing you up here, man. You really should jump on if you real. My boy Rich, man. Yeah. I'm glad he got a chance to tune in, but
yeah, when I get the chance, I need to go through and grade everybody in the SWAC schedule, because we've been getting a lot of slander for our schedule, but I'm trying to see who in the SWAC got a hard one. We're the only team that plays actual FCS teams and actually beats them and competes with them. So I'm trying to just go through the list and see who actually has a cupcake schedule. And just so y'all know, if your team on the East, your schedule already cupcake. You already got Alabama A&M. You already got Bethune-Cookman. You already got Valley. All right, you got the 3 worst teams ever created in the SWAC all on one side. It's a cakewalk over there. So, I'm gonna make sure I do some breakdowns, and I might tweet about it tonight.
no, absolutely. Did y'all get a chance to see? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Janaris. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You were going to say something about it. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna see if y'all saw the. I think it was a JSU fan that put out a SWAC tiers list earlier today. They were just talking about like where all the programs rank, like Blue Bloods to tier 2, tier 3, etc.
Yeah.
I don't know if Lionel has it. If not, it's okay. But I wanted to definitely talk about that if we had a quick minute to do so.
Yeah, that Jackson State propaganda. That's all it was, man. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna draw the line in the sand right here. Like, you cannot be a blue blood and you don't have double-digit national championships. Like, period. The only people who have that is FAMU and Grambling. I can give them that. They are true blue bloods. But there are 2 teams out of that tier 1 era, Alcorn in them. Alcorn won 4 in a row and didn't win a single natty. So let's go ahead and drop them to tier 2. They ain't no better than PV. Here it is right here. Alcorn. So yeah, I could put JSU, TSU, AT, South Carolina State tier 1. Alabama State, Alcorn, go ahead and take a seat next to me at tier 2. Alabama A&M, Bethune-Cookman immediately to tier 3. Immediately. They can't get there fast enough.
Yeah, I would have to say I agree. I think you drop Bama A&M down to tier 3. I have to go back and look through Bethune-Cookman's history, but something in me tells me that they drop as well. I think honestly, Alcorn and Alabama State, they for sure drop to tier 2. I mean, honestly, we've had a much more consistent program than Bama State for sure, and we had a losing streak. So, I mean, yeah, I don't see how you really make the argument for them. I think there's some biases in this list for sure, and that's fine. It's propaganda, but and I also like your assessment as far as a blue blood. Blue blood. I will say this. I think that SC State, FAMU, Grambling, that's a clear case. Jackson and Southern, obviously, they've done a lot of winning. If I'm just taking bias aside, but the national championship, if you don't have double digits, I think you could probably make an argument to put like a sub tier below that. As far as national championships, not conference championships, right? So let me be clear about that. But yeah, I would drop Alcorn and Bama State down to tier. I guess what they have here is tier 2. Myself, for us, I mean, yeah, I think tier 2 is a pretty decent assessment. Like I said, I'm not looking at everybody's records and stuff right now, so I'm doing this off memory. But is it a terrible list? No, but I think there's some propaganda in here for sure.
Oh, 100%. That came out of the 601 area code off I-55 somewhere. I know that's them people in that blue and white making this stuff up. Like, and honestly, it's really just disrespectful to Grambling, FAMU. I think Cook put in here that Southern has 11. If Southern got 11 natties, hey, they in there. But
Yeah,
you gotta.
If Southern got 11, then y'all up there then.
Yeah,
For
but
sure.
like you can't have 4 natties and all of a sudden you a blue blood. Like, come on, man. We got to incorporate a little bit of history into the full subject. And no disrespect to Jackson, they literally just started winning and they just got one national championship recently. So we got to put respect on the term blue bloods and tier 1. On what we do, but maybe we need to create a tier list, and just kind of set the record straight on what exactly is going on.
I mean, PB does have more national championships than Jackson, and we had an 80-game losing streak. So,
and a 20-year break.
I mean, honestly, maybe we should be in tier 1, and they should be right there with us because I don't see how looking at everybody else's resume, I'm trying to think, how many national championships does South Carolina State have? Let's see here. SCSU national championships.
Dang, I typed in South Carolina State. It's talking about JSU. Good. Hey, man, the JSU machine is working hard today.
Propaganda mill. Let's see here. Okay, see, like even
they got 6. They only have 6. So take it back. Go ahead and drop down South Carolina State. And I don't respect the MEAC very much anyway, so go ahead and drop them down.
If we're going just based off, if we're going off national championships, go ahead.
If my Panthers were able to tie in if we were able to tie in the SWAC, you know how many conference championships we have? We have about 1 million.
3, 6, 7. So like Hampton has 7 national championships. Honestly, PV goes up to tier 1. Jackson drops to tier 1. PV also goes up to tier 1. And then Bama State and Alcorn for sure got to drop. They got to drop line. They got to drop line. No other way.
100%.
And so, A&T only has 3.
Yeah, that's that recency bias. And I do hate that they did switch conferences because they can't show how developed their program has been. But yeah, they got to drop down a little bit too because they ain't been winning in the other conference they're in. Carlos PV has 6, brother. To give you the exact number.
I guess. And let me ask you guys this: if we were to create a tiers list, what is the criterion that we're basing it off? Because I now, if I take my bias aside, I do see like overall competitiveness, brand, some of these other features. But I think that gets a little bit too murky if the ultimate prize is not just a championship, but a national championship, right? Then for me, I feel like that would be hey, you either have this many or you don't, right? That's kind of categorizing you, But what do y'all think? What would that look like for you guys if we had to create?
We would need multiple qualifications. So we would need, in my opinion, national championships, conference titles, and then maybe overall records, like overall record as a football program. I think those three categories could kind of help us narrow it out.
I mean, just to deviate a quick second. EA is talking about FAMU. They do have a lot of national championships, and that's wonderful. Their brand, hey, great. Y'all made up the one in 2019 though, but they definitely have some stuff. They've had some good football over the years, no doubt about that.
Yep.
They also played in the MEAC, which is a little soft, but
Yep.
I know he's gonna go crazy with that statement, but but yeah, no, but back to what you're saying, yeah, I think that those definitely great criteria. I mean, what the challenge for me when you start talking about these tiers is like if you're gonna put in other factors like we were competitive in the 70s or we had a really good run here or like this player came out of the program or whatever, that case could be made for a lot of programs, and so it kind of that's where bias kind of gets in the door, if that makes sense.
Right.
So I don't know. I think that like I said, I think it's just, hey, national championships for sure have to be a heavy weight. JSU has 4 national championships, but
hey, and that I'm so glad he said that, because the way they talk, you would have thought they won them all.
so go figure when you look at the facts.
Now we got like a surprise at the end.
Say
Oh,
one more time.
I said, don't we got like a surprise at the end of the show?
Hey, let's go ahead. Let's roll it.
yeah, we got a little something for you.
Our opportunity to showcase our program outside of our conference to let people know that we don't play black college football. We play football. And wherever they play football, that's where we want to be. So we want to win our non-conference. We want to win the SWAC West. The fourth thing is we want to host the SWAC championship.
A few moments later.
What have I done? Help! Help! My house is on fire!
SpongeBob, why? Why did you set me on fire?
Dude from across the street. Well, what's that supposed to mean? We don't live around here.
Help me!
And these weren't your everyday white kids.
Grandma's everybody's Super Bowl. I had to figure that out.
Boy, if you don't was going to catch Greg later, some other guys were going to catch Greg now.
I'm sorry, but one of the funniest ones was when Mickey Joseph was talking about everybody being, Grambling, everybody's Super Bowl, and the dude interviewed him, bust out laughing like I would have if I would have heard the same thing. He couldn't believe it himself. He almost knocked his own sunglasses off. Crazy statement. Crazy statement.
That was going
Grambling
on
a crumbling dynasty,
ain't
man.
talking about now, bro.
It's sad times over off Exit 81, man. Y'all gotta send some prayers over there for real.
Hey, that's a hot seat. That's a hot seat right there. That over there in Grambling. It's hot.
Listen, so the thing is with that situation, they've watered down their schedule. If you want to talk about easy schedules, their schedule is so watered down because his contract states, Mickey Joseph, that he got to get 8 wins in order to get a contract extension. And so they've tried to really make it easy for him to get. Let me pull up this schedule real quick. For him to get 8 wins. So yeah, this is not Eddie Robinson's Grambling. The G-men are no more. After Hugh took them G's off the helmet, they ain't been right since. Honestly, they ain't been right since they fired Fobbs.
Yeah,
Justice Fobbs.
Hey, they'll never be the same. They need to go get Kincaid back. That was the last person that they had of notoriety. Devontae Kincaid. If you out there, I need you to save your program immediately. They are sinking ship, and you the only person that can save them.
I mean, so let's be real. I think they got rid of Hugh Jackson a little too early too. That's my personal preference too. But
Yeah,
He
he was
did.
he deserved another year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely deserved another year. Looking at this schedule, Langston, that's a dub. I feel confident saying, that's a dub. Ohio State next, okay.
Make that money. Make that money. Make that money.
Get that million, get that million. I hear you, get the money.
Kettle.
All right. Kentucky State, before Prime, this is the school that whooped up on some Tigers out of Mississippi last time I checked. We ain't forget, but
Mhm.
that was before Prime. So I'm gonna leave it alone. But I think they beat Kentucky State. East Texas, they barely, and I mean barely beat them last
Mhm.
season. But East Texas comes, or formerly Texas A&M Commerce, comes to the hole. I think they may get a win. Maybe. I think you can really go either way there. Prairie View. Okay, keep going. Fine, you can scroll down.
Yeah, we know how that's
We already know
going.
what time. That's
On
BTA. All
SWAC
right, we already know
TV.
what that is. All right. Texas Southern. Okay, this is a good one. What do y'all think in this game? Who do y'all think comes out of this game? Because I have some thoughts, but I want to hear what y'all got.
The Grambling TSU.
Yeah, the Grambling TSU game.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm taking TSU.
I'm
taking TSU going to Grambling in the hole and getting it done in Eddie Robinson Stadium.
Ooh, they may fire him that day.
I ain't gonna lie. He it might be the State Fair Classic, depending on how ugly it gets.
Yes, sir.
Ooh wee. Okay, then they have Pine Bluff. They go to Pine Bluff. I think they get Pine Bluff to handle. Now this is the one I want to talk about. The one in Las Vegas. What do y'all think about that game versus Jackson? How do y'all think they're gonna fare there? Because last year they whooped them. Now, let's be clear. Grambling definitely. I mean, they shocked me, right? They whooped. I think they shocked themselves too, but they whooped Jackson at the hole last year. So it's not like they didn't beat them. What do y'all think?
Well, first of all, I think this game is, pretty impactful, right? You talking about is at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, right? So, just seeing the notoriety that having two HBCU teams to be able to compete, in one of the biggest cities, known in America, I think it's a huge win by itself, just off the bat. I think JSU will actually, I think JSU will come out with the win with this one. I think, I think they will understand what happened last year, and I think JSU is going to come in and take care of business against Grambling in Las Vegas. So I don't see JSU losing this game.
It's hard for me to be a fan of that game. I greatly dislike out of conference, in conference teams playing each other. I think that is ridiculous. Both teams should remove it from their schedule. However, since they do have to play this meaningless game that did not impact Jackson when they lost, or impact Southern when they won. I mean, Grambling when they won. I think JSU is they're gonna take it. They're gonna take it home this time. I don't think they're gonna slack up and let Grambling just kind of catch them off guard. I think it was just one of those games for them.
No, William Graves in the chat saying that it is a conference game this year. So if that's the case, then that's great. I mean, it counts for something for both teams. So, but I got Jackson beating them by a lot. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I just don't see, especially after them posts they made earlier today, them players looking real thin and real frail. So, yeah, I got Jackson winning that game. Anybody else got any thoughts on that game? Janaris? As Janaris probably stepped away for a second, but okay, Alabama A&M. I got A&M. I got Alabama A&M. I'm not even gonna lie. I think Sham Shea is gonna have that defense ready to go. Offense, I have to go back and look at kind of what he ran at Miles, but I think the defense is definitely gonna be something serious. And I got Grambling losing that one. Which I think.
I'm interested to see what happens with the Mekhi Hagan situation that's going on there, and see if he's actually going to compete this season or not. I don't know. I mean, I think if Mekhi Higgins is playing, I got Alabama A&M winning this game.
Yeah, they. I know the rumor report came out that
Yeah,
he'll be academically ineligible. So that was a tough blow for the COVID champion Bulldogs.
They did bring back Cornelius Brown the fourth, though.
Yeah, they did bring him back. I don't know. So my problem with Alabama teams is every time I put faith in them, they let me down. 1 year they're supposed to beat JSU, they never do it. 1 year they're supposed to beat FAMU, they never do it. So for me, putting such great expectations on them, I don't want to be let down by them. I think Grambling makes it out, and they'll be fighting for their life and their coach by that time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm gonna give y'all a wild take here. That Bethune game, I got Bethune winning. I think that.
That's
I
not a
think
crazy
that.
thing to say. That's not
I
a crazy
think.
About this coaching staff. But what I'm telling you, we got some really good football players in the building. We got some damn good coaches in the building. Everybody Super Bowl? Well, guess what? We're going to give you a Super Bowl because we're looking for war. The 2025 fall camp.
See, now, if T-Deck said that, we'd be on Good Morning America. Yeah, this coach is, he done lost his mind. But because Mickey, okay. Bet.
I'm interested to what a Southern fan would say to these crazy allegations, because if I'm correct, like the last 10 years, Southern has a crazy record against Grambling in the Bayou Classic. So I haven't really gotten to hear their opinion, but I might go have to sneak in one of their streams and hear them talk about that, because that's crazy.
What about this Alcorn game?
If they playing in Lorman, they gonna win it. If Alcorn playing in Lorman, they gonna win it.
Yeah, it's in Norman.
Yeah, I don't know about y'all. I don't see 8 wins. I don't see 8 wins on this schedule at all.
No. They only got conference wise, they only gonna win about 3, 4, maybe.
I mean, even overall, he needs 8 in order to get a contract extension. I don't see it. I can't. I'm not. This is me taking the PV hat off. I really do not see 8 wins for them on this schedule. That's crazy.
No, I don't at all.
So
it won't come from in conference. It's gonna come from Langston. He gonna have to be all Langston, Texas A&M Commerce. Yeah, he's gonna have to win all of those, and plus about 5 conference games.
Basically, gonna have to just go to the SWAC championship if that's what it looks like.
I don't see that.
Yep.
Yeah, basically.
Man, guys, be right back.
That's not gonna happen, bro.
That's a tough position to be in for sure. You know what I mean? They had some.
You might be able to pack his bag.
They might as well go ahead and fire up that Ed Reed bandwagon they've been pushing, man. Because I really don't see him. I mean, that's in best case scenario. Like, if some of the games we're saying they're going to lose, they turn around and win, right? That's still not 8, right? So I don't know, what that's going to look like. But
just a quick thought, Zay. You think the SWAG's going to maybe follow suit in a sense? Also we had Dion in the SWAG. You think the SWAC would look to have like another like former NFL superstar, something like that, become a head coach in the SWAC, you think, in the future?
Is it possible? Sure. Right. I think there's some considerations to keep in mind. So in the most respectful way possible, a lot of our programs cannot afford the head coaches that some of the names like a Ray Lewis, we can't afford them. Right. I mean, for a lot of the programs, there's a few that probably could muster up the dollars to do it, but that would be a valiant effort to do so. Right. The second thing is, I think that there's only one Dion. There's only one coach. Yeah. And trying to, I mean, literally like hiring Hugh Jackson, in my opinion, at Grambling was a knee-jerk reaction to hiring Dion. And really, I mean, you look at Tennessee State, for example. They hired a celebrity coach, if you will, and the previous coach. I'm blanking right now on his name, and he did a great job for them. He won them a championship, right? But it took him a while to develop to get to that point, right? And I think that just bringing in a celebrity, it doesn't really fix all the issues. And also, you have to be able to have the capacity to capitalize on everything that could come with having a celebrity coach, right? Do you have the marketing in place, right, to keep the thing moving forward after they're long gone? Do you have, the staffing? Eddie George, thank you.
Yeah, Eddie George. Yeah.
Do you have the staffing? Like, we can't even do, and I'm just being real. There's certain things that we can't even do the basics correct. So bringing in another complexity like managing an NFL coach as a head coach, at our level, I think sometimes is just a pipe dream and nothing more, right? Yes, could they possibly bring resources? Yes, right. Some could not, right? Just because they have NFL associated with their name doesn't always. I mean, not everybody's a Pro Bowler, etc. So I think that if you're trying to chase what has been replicated or what was done at Jackson, good luck, right? In my opinion, for PV, does that make sense? Not necessarily, right? I think that we would do more or less the same, if we had a head coach that was a celebrity versus not. There obviously would be just increased interest because it's a celebrity, but I don't think that for us it moves the needle, especially as our fans. I think talking with fans, we're just like, okay, that's cool. But I think in some other places, there may be a counter argument. I just don't think I don't think you save your program by hiring a celebrity head coach. I just really don't think you do that.
Yeah, and I'm saying that because we saw this trajectory of like MEAC, right, and seeing how many like celebrity hires they made within the MEAC, right. And so I was just one, that was just a thought that just came to my mind, just like I know like some people were talking about maybe like somebody like a Teddy Bridgewater, right, who just won a state championship, right, and on the high school level, right, possibly maybe if the opportunity is right, being a head coach in the college football level, or even like an Ed Reed, right? We all know what happened, the first time around. But like this, that was just kind of like my interest, just kind of just seeing how the MEAC was and the trajectory that the MEAC was kind of going, with some of these schools and their head coaches and things like that. But I mean, I'm perfectly fine with having T-Jack as our head coach. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I mean, for example, I know a lot of folks wanted Andre Johnson at TSU prior to Dishman being hired, right? That was all in the news. They were running the publications behind that. I think that, yes, resources, the Texans connection, right? Familiarity. He's always at PV and TSU for homecoming, especially, right? So I think that yes, that could have been a decent fit, but I think there's still, you have to have some level of coaching acumen, right? You have to have been doing this to understand it. And then also understanding the changing landscape, right? Like the verdict is still out on how great or how impactful a hire like Vic at Norfolk or Deshaun Jackson at Delaware State is going to be. Has it garnered more interest? Absolutely. Definitely more interest. As more ticket sales, for sure, right? So, that speaks for itself. But as far as wins and losses, we really have to let that play out to see if something similar to what was done with Dion can be replicated somewhere else. I'm not a believer that it can be. I just think that it's a very insulated and niche situation that worked for a niche program, right? Nothing more, nothing less, right? Yeah. I think it's better to look at fit, right? Like, you have to ask yourself, if Prime went to Pine Bluff, do you think the same thing happens? I mean, let's be real. If Prime went to Valley, do you think Valley is in a Celebration Bowl 2 times in a row?
Absolutely not.
I mean, yeah, I just don't. I don't think that's the case. But I'm sure there's people out here that will say that is, and you could bring in a ton of resources. But at the end of the day, there's other considerations: fan support, right? Infrastructure, right? Do you already have some things in place? I think there's other things that you have to keep in mind, and it just doesn't make sense for every program.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And to piggyback, off the Dion and JSU, right? And what made Dion unique about his celebrity prowess was he was still an elite recruiter, right? And although, yes, he is a famous player, but he has a very charismatic ability to be able to relate to people 20 years younger than him, 20 years older than him. Everybody loves him. He got the #1 ranked player to commit to Jackson, right? A Heisman level player to commit to Jackson. So I don't see Deshaun Jackson with his lack of coaching experience really having success over there. And Michael Vick, although he did play quarterback, it's still his first year coaching. And a lot of these first year coaches, in my opinion, in today's game, struggle a lot in the speed of the recruiting and being able to maintain and manage relationships now.
Yeah.
So Chris Ford brought up a good question. Given the current landscape in college athletics, would it make strategic sense to build a program under Tremaine Jackson and position ourselves for a move to a more competitive conference? So I think that to best answer this, right, from the context of like travel costs, sure. If we had, I think Dr. Michael Prince on the OBN network, he talked about recently, he came up with an idea to have an all Texas FCS conference. So all the Texas FCS schools just created their own conference, and we pretty much stuck to playing Texas schools and then maybe a few Louisiana schools out of conference, right? Travel wise, we would save some money there, but from a revenue standpoint, at the end of the day, I've always been a proponent. The biggest difference between FCS and FBS, it's not just philanthropic giving. That's a small portion of these budgets, right? If you go and look at the data, it's not just alumni support. It is TV revenue. Mm-hmm. Now, if the Conference USA calls us tomorrow, I will be the first person to tell you we should consider that. You know why? Because they have incrementally more current TV revenue than what we do. That's a business move. Now, from a cultural and do our fans want to support that, etc.? I think it would kill the momentum that we already have. So it may not make sense, even though the money could be good to do so, right? But all in all, for PV, I don't see a world where could we be another conference? Sure, the Southland has tried to poach us several times.
Yep.
And Texas Southern and Grambling and Southern, right? Yep. So could we be another conference? Yeah, we have other options, but do we want to be? No, we founded this thing. I mean, why would we leave our child?
Right.
That's just my thoughts on that. But what do y'all think?
I think if something were to happen, if PV would even lead a SWAC, I think it would just be to combine both the SWAC and MEAC to have your own HBCU conference. I think that's the only way that PV even leaves. The SWAC, is the SWAC and MEAC combining. Honestly, but I mean I think that's what should happen. Down the line. And we probably have our own HBCU playoffs. That's something I would like to see. Take place. I think that would be pretty dope to have our own HBCU playoffs and things like that. Because I feel like sometimes the Celebration Bowl is in a way not enough in a sense. When you have just the teams that win the conference, but I think a HBCU playoffs would be kind of dope, and I think the only way for that to happen would be a HBCU combined conference with the SWAC and MEAC. But that's just me personally.
We do not have the largest. We've had the largest budget of any HBCU, but that has been a sliding scale since 2017. So it's gone. It is taking steps down. But at one point in time, yes, we did have, but we're not currently there. So,
and as far as me on the leaving the conference thing, I'm more of a traditional person myself. I would hate to leave all of the years of building up to where the SWAC and the MEAC are currently. I am not a fan of the MEAC if the MEAC would want to absolve themselves and join the SWAC, turn the SWAC into a super conference with like maybe 20 teams, I could do that. But the MEAC and their management, hey, we can throw that in the trash. Let's rebrand it as the SWAC 2.0. And just kind of take over the south and southeastern portion. But even then, it's so many teams with the budgets that a lot of these SWAC schools have. Not everybody can make it. Valley wouldn't be able to make it. Trine Bluff might not be able to make it. There are some schools that are really struggling financially that might not be able to join us.
I think if we had a super conference, could it work? Possibly. I think there's a lot of geographic distance
100%.
that kind of makes that a huge challenge. It's not like, the MEAC is in the Midwest. It's not like, that could make a little bit more sense, right? But you're talking about to go from Prairie View, right? And you say, hey, we're gonna go play Howard, and we have Norfolk in a season.
Woo!
And outside of the DC chapter and any of the other chapters that we're not coming. Maybe Howard homecoming, but other than that, we're not going. I'm telling you that I may go the first year for sure, and I go to a lot of games, but I'm not going up there.
Yeah.
Why?
Sure.
It's way too far to do. It's not even just to be on a commitment standpoint. It's literally like that just doesn't make sense. So if we did it, it would have to be pods, like almost like a SWAC West, a SWAC Southwest, SWAC East, SWAC Southeast. You would have to really kind of put it in different pods for that to make sense from a travel component. And then the other part becomes, how do you know who truly really is the best? Because say you win your pod, and then you go and try to play the best of the other pods, right? I mean, the SWAC is already competitive enough. Like anybody could really be beat week to week. So I just think it becomes a little bit, it becomes really, really challenging to manage. And I think currently we just don't even have the infrastructure. We're barely maintaining what we got. So mastering what we have before we even focus on that would make a lot more sense.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was just a thought that just came to my mind, just seeing like, the trajectory of, the conference and where we see this conference going forward and things like that. So yeah, obviously I'm not saying we should make a move now or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? But, I know that probably down the line, probably some type of moves probably going to be made. I feel like, if not within the next decade, probably, a couple of decades down the line.
Absolutely, man. Well, man, this has been a great show. Great second show. We're still improving. We got some other things in store for PV Nation podcast. We appreciate y'all tuning in, giving feedback, comments. This is definitely something we want to kind of grow and scale, get more people involved, the PV folks and the everybody's, because we know there's a lot of everybody's out there that are curious what we're doing off this hill. So when you have these conference teams go years without seeing each other, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Right? It's very true. So I don't think we see FAMU unless they make it to a championship for another 8 years.
Yeah.
For example. So yeah, you definitely, that's a good point. But please make sure to like and subscribe. Get a membership. We have some members only content between Lionel and ourselves that we're planning to roll out. It's $2.99 a month. Get your $3 plan. Get tapped in. If you want to know who QB1 is, the data's up there. Even for everybody, you just got to pay us for it. Yeah, put something on it. So who is it? You want to know? You got to pay. You got to pay your money, baby. You got to pay your money. All right. But definitely make sure to get your memberships, like, subscribe, share the channel. We want to grow this thing as far as we possibly can. Are there any other announcements, Lionel? SWAC.
That's a big one right here.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Hey.
I may even have to jump on the show for this one.
Hey, I might have to be security that day.
Tell your mama, tell your grandmama, tell your great grandmama, you're gonna be here at PV versus everybody for this one. Yeah, this is the one you want to see right here. This prime time. Look, Lionel, honestly, we should make this members only. I ain't gonna lie. Just think about it. We should make this members only because it's gonna be on and popping for sure. I know Brother Campbell, he coming on with some heat. You know, we got Perry. He gonna start talking that Jaguar nonsense, and Scotty. You know, he off script. He gonna be off script for sure with his off topics, but nevertheless, he gonna be here. We're gonna have a good time. You know, so this one we're gonna be cooking with Crisco. Yeah, you tell everybody. You know, you want to be here. You don't want to be anywhere else. You want to be here for this right here. This is the main event for sure. So, absolutely, man. Any other announcements, Lionel? Yeah, anything else?
Yeah,
I think that's it.
All right,
yeah, man. We appreciate y'all, man. PV, you know.
You know.
All right,
Hey,
guys.
y'all have a good one.
All right, 12 fans.